Hi everyone, this is Lisa from No Problem Consulting Agency. I'm the immigration consultant of Canada. You guys all seeing those new changes in everywhere, in every blog it's popping up, and I do understand your frustration on how things are dramatically changing in terms of the immigrating or immigration policy in Canada. So I am going to be very clearly trying to get you understand what it mean by implementing all these new changes. And then some of the online users or people out there have been creating this rumor that is not even right. And this is starting to make me worried that people would have wrong and very incorrect idea about what is going to happen in Canada immigration. Don't get me wrong, I do feel like they are trying to narrow down the number of the people that are going to be coming here illegal, and also they are trying to sort it all those black market or like things that has been a little bit of issue in terms of hiring foreign worker, in terms of international students. But you need to understand there has no fundamental change. When I say fundamental, it means Canada is inevitably in need of finding or hiring foreign worker. Do you know how I know? Because I've been dealing with lots of Canadian employers who has been nothing but complaining about how unreliable to hire a new Canadian worker. It's quite common for me to see that they just don't show up at work in a last minute notice, or they just only work enough for them to apply for their EI and then they just took off. And this work has been put into running a business can be very, very detrimental because of the not reliable services that you can provide to your customers. So what they essentially want is that they want dedicated, very, very committed employees. And then obviously Canada government is trying to make employers not to exploit foreign worker, which is 100% understandable. And trending has been changed. Employer understand that even if you treat them right, even if you actually pay them what you offer, like you will ended up getting a lot more from them by treating them right. So in a way that this is kind of good for the future foreign workers, and also to make things right, to have this little bit of a modification. There's always going to be a bump, but what I can tell you for sure is this is not the first time they have done this. I've seen this trend. I've seen this happen a few times. 10 years ago when there was LMO, and then that it has changed to LMIA, and everyone was freaking out. People were like, hey, Canada is a stop taking immigrants in. I don't see it that way. I see this as a positive change in a way that Canada government is actually trying to do something nicer for the foreign worker and then affected employer accordingly. So what's going to happen is the biggest challenging and what people concern the most is the fact that the total LMI ratio. So basically, if you don't know what LMIA is, LMI is so-called labor market impact assessment. So what that means is, so for example, if I had 10 employees under my company, okay? So it used to be the case when I can hire 30% of my employee with the foreign worker. So, 70% a 7 Canadian worker and then the 30% foreign workers. But now they're saying that they are going to reduce that ratio from 30 to 20%. But this is where you do not understand when did that 30% happen, and where in what business factor has been taken benefit of having that 30%. If you guys never done the LMIA and you don't even know what the LMIA, even if you do know and then you have gone through LMIA as an employer, you still don't understand that this cap is only restricted to the low wage employees. And then you'll be wondering what is low wage? Like, what is high wage? What is a median wage? So basically, when you're checking on Job Bank Canada, search for the median wage of each provinces you have your company based. So for example, if I type on BC median wage, it will just show as a $24. So average people in BC would have been making $24 per hour. So if you're hiring foreigner, or if you're wishing to hire the foreigner, and then you're offering that foreigner a lower than the median wage, this person is considered as a low wage worker. But there is another thing that you need to know is that 20% low wage cap has always been the same before COVID. This was 20% before, and they actually made an exception to bump that rate from 20% to 30%. Okay, so it's kind of funny when they were doing nice thing, like something positive for you. No one actually has mentioned it. Like it's okay, like like they just increased it 20 to 30%. It's a right thing to do. So no one is making a big fuss about it. But now they just wanted to go back to where they were. So what's all this fuss about? Why people are freaking out? Because people out there is putting wrong information, and then they'd be like, hey, if we have more than 3 foreign worker, and even if I do have LMIA, I need to let them go. No, you don't. You don't know. Like those new implemented policy, Canada always provide those grace period where the one who you applied before should not be affected by this new change. So whatever. So let's just say if you have 10 employees in total. So let me say you have a 4 foreign worker with LMIA. Okay? So people were like, hey, what's going on? Like, I need to lose one of my foreign worker because now I am exceeding those LMIA cap limit because now I'm 40%. You are dreaming here. You know what? Like, if that's the case, that's actually going to create some civil lawsuit right there against the government. They're not that stupid. It's this whole new going back to before COVID was inevitable. How long do you think you're going to get this exception for? So me here looking at it, and also they were talking about those validity period of the LMIA. This was also another exception during the COVID that Canadian Service Canada accepted the fact that even if you get your LMIA, it is going to be hard to hire foreign worker from outside the country. So they actually give you longer period of time to use the LMIA. It doesn't mean that your foreign worker will have only the work permit of 6 months. LMIA validity duration versus foreign workers' work permit duration is completely 2 separate things. So, like, get out of those weird incorrect messages that everyone just is putting out to put you off of hiring foreign worker. That's what they are trying to do, because they are trying to make it look like it's hard and everything has changed and you need to lose your foreign worker. You must hire Canadian. You must hire permanent residents. It's good. It's great. Like, if you can find one reliable, loyal worker who could work with you for long period of time. But it is not easy, especially in the blue collar field. I gotta be honest with you. We're living in an era where we can make much more money, easier money with a simple laptop right here. And, lots of young people in Canada wants to be a YouTube star. Why would you want to go somewhere and do the dishwasher? And when if you work 3 months and then you're eligible to apply for the EI. So, like I was saying, the baseline, the fundamental has not been changed. This whole new LMIA validity, the LMIA duration change was the same. Before COVID. So don't make it so end of the world that, oh my god, this is happening, like no one should come here, like Canada is dying, no one is going to accept new immigrants anymore. That is total BS. And sorry for my harsh language today, but I'm just getting so sick and tired of people like telling me this whole new level of how declining Canada is. I mean, I gotta say, they are trying to clap it down. They will do everything to make it unpleasant for employer to hire foreign worker, but that doesn't mean that they can stop taking workers in, because without them, this society is not maintainable. Like it will not maintain. The employer will probably ended up hiring more robots. Okay? So I don't understand. And some of you don't even know where that cap limit comes from. Cap limit only applies to the low wage. It doesn't apply for those skilled worker for PR whose NOC job code is A, B, and C. Well, now the today's standard is 0, 1, and 2.